Hi, welcome back to the Good Life Crew, guys. I have finally managed to do some tidying of our plot. The weather has remained dry enough for me to do a reasonably good job of it. Quite proud of what I've done, mainly because I've never bothered to do a proper autumn tidy up before. There are some things that still need doing, but broadly speaking, we're almost there. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you what's been happening. So the pond does need some work. I've spoken to a friend of mine about a backy system to keep it clear. I've also managed to trim the willow screen here. Fundamentally, the idea of the willow screen was to ensure that the plot didn't flood on that corner, but now we've put the pallets and a pond on top. It's more decorative, but it also makes it nicer that you just don't see up to the path and you see the compost bin behind. Moving down, this is our young gold apple tree and some remaining kale, which my small feathery weed destroyers down here. Hello Roxy, I'll feed you in a minute. And our Cox's orange pippin tree, which really excitingly this year had several apples on it. And then we get into slightly more disappointing mode. This is our plum tree. It was planted 2 years ago, but we've yet to have a plum on it, which I find slightly disappointing. But there's always next year. And then this is our stumpery. I built this during the first lockdown. It's a mix of hardwood and softer woods, obviously the very obvious tree fern and several other ferns in it. Now, due to the last couple of years, it does need some more logs, as obviously they're all breaking down, and I would like to add some moss to it to keep it moist. It is a little dry. I can't quite believe I'm saying that on my plot, but it is a little dry, which is better for the ferns in some respects, especially for the tree fern, for its survival on our very muddy quagmire plot. And then moving around, I'm going to turn around this way, we have the bottom of the plot, which, as you can see, I've predominantly weeded. Our sunflower seeds looking a little bit sorry for themselves. I will have to take those down today. And this is our apricot tree, which had beautiful blossom on it at the start of the year and then has proceeded to do precisely nothing. So maybe it will be another year before we get those. We do have several apricot trees on site, so even if it's not self-fertilizing, it should be working. And then here is my favorite bit. The other day, and out of nowhere came these beautiful flowers. You must forgive me, I cannot remember what they're called, but they're absolutely stunning, and it's completely the wrong time of year. As you can look around the rest of the plot, you know, it's October in England, it's overcast, it's windy, it's rainy. This is not the time for flowers. And of course Tommy in the background making his presence known. And then we have our willow arch with our bench. I'm really quite proud of it this year. It's taken a lot of work to get it into shape, and it takes even more work to keep it in shape. But it has had a really good effect on the amount of water in the soil around there. It's not a willow tree, those are a separate kind of subspecies. This is willows in the type of willow you would use to make wicker baskets, or nice little wicker statues in the garden. It can get very out of hand very quickly, so I am religiously ferocious with trimming it back. I have trimmed it back recently, but I might do it again a little bit more just to make sure that it's all even and there's nothing overhanging the path. The bit of rope you can see has stayed all year. Towards the end of last winter, that particular part of the archway was leaning into the path and obscuring it quite badly, so my simple plan was to pull it back and attach it to the tree. Now that has worked. It has meant that it's been a little difficult walking down the plot. You've got a kind of high vault over the rope, but it has worked quite well, and I think I'll leave it over this winter just to make sure that it's still staying in place. Come to the bottom little corner, and this is my little bog garden. I love my bog garden. This used to be the wettest area of the plot, and so I thought this would be a great idea. Underneath, I dug it all out to about 2 foot down. I put down a pond liner. You can see the top of the screen, a little bit of hose pipe. So that is, I can directly feed water into the base of the bog garden. And on the top, a range of different flowery things and things that like water in a pond. As with the all way of things down the allotment, this is now the driest part of my plot. It regularly needs watering. It's very frustrating, but maybe it'll sink down. Oh, do shut up, Tommy. Apologies about that. He's found his voice and he likes to shout. Right, so moving on a little bit. These are Phil's chickens. They are Labras and they are beautiful and very expensive. So that is what the plot looks like from here. I'm just going to pause it and we'll have a look at the fruit section. Okay, so this is our fruit section. We have a mixture of tayberries, blackberries and raspberries, although the raspberries seem to have died quite spectacularly this year. We have several blackcurrant bushes. We also have a honeyberry bush. Now, as yet, we haven't had anything from it, and I think I nearly killed it the first year it was in. But you never know, we might get lucky, and if we don't by next year, I'll probably pull it out and put something else in instead. I'm starting a raised bed, but I'm also using it as a mini composting plot for the time being. And then, of course, we have our absolutely stunning, beautiful Braeburn apple tree, which we inherited when we took over the plot. A conference pear. And unfortunately, at the end, you can see a dead tree. That was the most spectacular pear tree I've ever had, and for some reason, it just died one year. The leaves caught some sort of fungus, and that was it. It was gone. Thankfully, this little tree in the middle that has always been overshadowed is now actually having a chance at life. So I have bought a replacement pear tree. It's not the same. It's not a conference. I can't quite remember what it is at the moment, but it's going to go in that place. And then at the bottom of the plot we have our chicken coop. This is handmade by friends of ours, and we recently inherited this lovely little Wendy house, which is absolutely perfect for the chickens. And of course, in true style, because chickens are difficult, they refuse to use it. But it gives them nice and warm. It is somewhere dry. They do have a nest box built in there, although again they refuse to use that. And more recently I found an egg laid in the poo bucket, which I found rather offensive. But hey ho, such is life with chickens. And as if they knew it on purpose, right on cue, here is an egg in the poo bucket. And this is the one that causes all the noise. Hello, Tommy. Tommy is just finishing his molt. You might see some little pin feathers that are sticking out. They look a little bit whitish. They're coming through. And here are the rest of our girls. And I know precisely which chicken is the culprit for the poo bucket. Don't we, Polly? Don't worry, it's not you. Where is Flora? Oh, there you are, Flora. Flora is a bluebell, and she lays olive eggs. And this is an olive egg, is it not, Flora? In my poo bucket. Flora, what's wrong with the laying box? Do you not like it? Yeah. Tommy's watching to make sure I don't do anything. He's recently started to try and get a little bit aggressive. The problem is he doesn't really know how to do it. And he ends up kind of trying to stamp at you, which can seem quite intimidating. However, all you have to do is stand tall and he kind of backs off. You leave my shoes alone.